another milestone, let's call it, for XRP, which is this idea that you have asset managers now filing for ETFs tied to it, started by Bitwise. What is the prospect of having that spot ETF tied to XRP anytime soon, and what do you think it'll mean for the price of XRP?
Look, I think we clearly are seeing ETFs have been popular. You know, the United States SEC was dragged kicking and screaming to approve the Bitcoin ETF in January. I think you've seen about $17 billion flow into that ETF. I think it's the fastest growing ETF in history. It's very clearly demonstrating there's demand from institutions, there's demand from retail to access this asset class. So the XRP interest has grown. You've seen 2 or 3 ETF filings happen around XRP. And to me, it's just inevitable. You're going to see not just Bitcoin and ETH, you're going to see an XRP ETF. You're starting to see there's a filing around a basket ETF that has, I think, 5 or 6 cryptos in it, which I think also makes a lot of sense. But it also is just part of the trend of more and more institutionalized participation in the crypto industry. So I think we're going to continue to see that. And I do think it creates upward pressure on the prices for many different cryptos, including XRP.
The flows into the Bitcoin ETFs have been pretty remarkable. Not so remarkable have been flows into the ETH ETFs. What indication do you have, Brad, that there actually is demand for an XRP ETF?
Well, I would disagree that there's not, that the ETH ETF, I think, has done exceptionally well. It hasn't done as well as Bitcoin, but if you look at the kind of market dominance of Bitcoin compared to ETH, the ratio is about the same in terms of the ETF participation. Obviously, the ETH ETF is newer. So I actually think the ETH ETF has done very well. I think we clearly see a very interested and active community around the XRP ecosystem, both here in the United States and beyond, and that has grown. And so I think that a XRP ETF will do quite well.
So if you're holding XRP, I think it's quite cool that the CEO of Ripple and probably also the co-founders of XRP are on board with the idea that an ETF would be pretty good, but more importantly, that it's confirmed. Well, let me rephrase that. So we are not 100% sure that it's coming, right? But you kind of am, because he just said, the Ripple CEO, that it's inevitable for an XRP ETF to come along. So rather than us not knowing if it's going to happen, it's just now a matter of when. The good thing and bad thing are both one here. And that is, when it comes to XRP, most people that are holding it are not really part of the is it, if, but more part of the when are things gonna pop off. And if you've been holding for a long time, I think you'll probably agree with me on this also, that it's just been an extremely long amount of time for it to make any crazy move. And still, as of this point, ladies and gentlemen, I do not have that much to say. No real crazy lawsuit updates. I keep seeing some small pieces about the appeal, etc., but it's not that interesting. What he did mention is just how crazy the ETF has performed. And even though there were actually some outflows just yesterday, the last week or so, we saw what? $1.2 billion or so, maybe even more. No, for sure, we saw more than that worth of inflows over the past 2 weeks here. As you can see, just crazy numbers here have been added. Now, Ethereum has been a lot less interesting. Matter of fact, it's been kind of boring. If you just take a look, yesterday we saw 11.9 million. The day before we saw 21 million. Now 2 million, 50 million, 24. Then again, if we are just focusing on Bitcoin for just a second, first of all, the inflows that we saw in just 1 week here are just absolutely groundbreaking. And second of all, I think it's the fastest growing ETF ever, which once more makes sense because there is this demand for the entire asset class. Ethereum ETFs relatively are quite a lot newer, but also if we compare sizes, it does actually make a lot of sense for Ethereum to do less well. And I should add something more. Did you know that Ethereum over the past few months has been absolutely dog tier garbage? I just had a discussion on Twitter a few minutes ago with somebody. I put up that Ethereum has been doing really, really bad because if we take a look at the past 6 months or so, it's just the truth. Somebody said, whoa, you'll take those words back in 6 months from now, and I'll tell you back. If I'm making a statement about the performance of the past 6 months, the only way in which I might want to take my words back is if the next 6 months are even worse, making my statement look kind of dumb. If the price all of a sudden does look really well, then my statement of saying the past 6 months were horrible still holds up just fine. Regardless, whatever the past has showcased doesn't really make anything for the results in the future. Right now, as it stands, one of the only coins absolutely popping off is Solana. I want to give a little shout out though to BNB. Little side note, have you guys also noticed that absolutely nothing has been going on with BNB for months, yet it's still the third biggest cryptocurrency by market cap? If you guys noticed that? It's been a really long while since I've heard anybody say, wow, yeah, it's on BNB, bro, or anything like that. It seems to be that every meme is over on Solana. Some of them are over on Ethereum, but basically everything is over on Solana, and that all the interest is on other places. And really recently, a lot of the interest for places like, or I should say, ecosystems like Cardano, Avalanche, and XRP have been on quite a little low pit if we're talking about cooking. But I have to remind people that part of the cycle that we're in, and part of the cycle that we're in, is just that there's almost no interest in some of these major contenders. It just really seems to be the case. A lot of these top coins have just been performing absolute dog tier over the past few months. Memes have been popping off. Some AI things have been popping off. But generally speaking, we are too early in the cycle to tell. Most people that got into crypto over the past while are just at a loss. You have to accept it. It's only people that really timed it wisely at the start of the year, maybe got out in April or March, something like that. They might be up. But most people who bought in the 2021 run, even though Bitcoin is basically at its all-time high from 2021 again, are still at a loss. And that's, again, you have to realize that at the time, Ethereum was also at roughly $5,000. Let's quickly check. So right now it's $2,506, right? It's still $2,400 below its all-time high, roughly 50%. And many coins are in a similar sort of position. Even though Bitcoin is king right now, it's also because Bitcoin has picked up that dominance. Some coins like Solana are kind of defying it, but realize that back when Bitcoin was breaching its all-time high at those levels, Solana also got itself to what? Let's see, $90. Let's say roughly $260 at the time, right? And Dogecoin, for example, if you guys remember with the whole Elon Musk push, at the time it was 60 cents higher than it is right now. Let's just say 75 cents, I don't know, 80 cents maybe, at that point, a while back. And right now it's sitting at 15, 16 cents. And that's funny because meme coins have been popping off, but even Dogecoin has not been doing anything. Really, again, further constructing, or I should say building a basis for my earlier statements of this entire top 10 will look significantly different. Many coins which you've given up on will still go for a crazy run. It's still very, very early to tell. I'm telling you right now that the election that's coming up over the next few weeks will most likely decide the short-term fate of crypto. We've also got ourselves the Fed's interest rate cut in about 2 weeks or so that could play a significant role. All I'm doing for right now is just observing. Again, for the most part, I'm actually, and this might be quite controversial, but getting myself a lot of stable coins here to really go hard over the next few weeks as the market starts showing some strength. I'm not saying that we're really looking weak, but for me, it's quite difficult here to determine what the direction is going to be. Bitcoin buying is always quote unquote safe. But people are really divided over, should we buy Solana? Should we go all in on smaller memes or the big memes like 𝗵𝗵𝗀𝗃, etc.? Should we just go for Ethereum? Whereas previous cycles or back in, let's say the February era, it was quite easy to spot. Right now, it seems that memes are really the trend, but almost nothing else. Just take a look at the top trending ones. You can see that today was a horrible day with a lot of these coins going down 25%, if not more. The markets are not really properly showcasing in this top of the list just how awful the performance of a lot of coins has been here over the last 24 hours. Many of my coins are down like 25% or so, which again showcases this is not the perfect point in the market. I'll tell you that a while back, about a month or so ago, there were a lot of signs showing that the altcoin season was back, and still as of this point, altcoins are not bad. But recently here, Bitcoin has been taking up so much dominance, and altcoins have failed to break through for the most part, that we really want to see Bitcoin show a couple extra percentages before really starting to go heavy on altcoins again. This push towards 69,000, you might say that's bullish for altcoins. Yes, but no. The fact that altcoins did not pump more than Bitcoin really means that Bitcoin is still the center of it all. Bitcoin still will most likely keep getting slightly more dominance before, again, the massive money goes into altcoins. Some altcoins have been popping off. Generally speaking, right now, the meta, the trend on Twitter seems to be the AI coins. If you don't know what they are, there's like a few. 𝗏, for example, is one of the most popular ones. If you want to know what it's most famous for, to simply put it, over the past few days, it's been getting a lot of attention. The whole sector, actually, what the sector is these accounts that are supposedly ran by AI. And because they are programmed to look around crypto Twitter, they're also getting opinions of their own. They're stating things, and then people are making coins and buying coins with those statements. I don't even want to explain why it was GOAT. Please don't make me do that. I can't do that, all right? It's too graphic to explain why the token GOAT went so crazy. I think right now it's at $800 million worth of market cap, though, which is pretty significant. But for the most part, it's because the crypto space is quite boring right now. And you might have noticed, Dusty, you're not making videos every single day. First of all, I'm preparing a couple of really cool things, but also I do not want to spam you with news. As I stated before, my whole goal here is not to be a financial advisor, but to portray the best thoughts that I can, compile them for the market. I don't want to push a video out with news that's too small to make a significant impact here. I want to make sure that whoever's watching this video gets a lot of value from it, or also maybe thinks about pivoting a certain other way. Right now, as I said, today it seems Solana is pushing through, which is nice to see. And perhaps if Solana actually pushes slightly further, because right now it just made a new all-time high versus Ethereum, it could actually set a precedent for many other coins to follow, or ignite a very good push on the entire Solana ecosystem, which means many memes. The fact, though, that right now a couple of other coins like Doge are also up 2 and whatnot, even more percents on the hour, is also a good look into the near future. Here, 𝗵𝗀𝗀 is up 2.5% of the past hour. It seems coins are recovering again, which is really, really nice because the day was really, really bad. But like I said, for the most part, I'm quite neutral on the market here right now, mostly until Ethereum makes a move. You might call me stupid, but I still believe Ethereum will do pretty massive this run. And it's not because I'm that bullish on Ethereum. That's really not it. I think you won't really make that much money with Ethereum. You shouldn't focus on it. But I do believe for a general altcoin season, one has to be the contender, the starter of the push, because Bitcoin's going to keep going up. Take a lot of that dominance until some altcoin pushes. It could be XRP, for example, if something crazy happens. It could be Solana if it keeps up with the momentum that it's got right now. It could, right? It could also be some sort of meme, like a Pepe or even a 𝗵𝗀𝗀 if they all of a sudden go for such a crazy run. But hey, the moment that it does, it might not be able to be stopped anymore, which is good, because that might mean the altcoin season is here. Anyway, timing-wise, it's looking more and more primed for things to just be uncontrollable, unstoppable. And many have said that this might have been the final dip, which is why I'm getting more and more, I'm going to say certain that we're going to just launch, go absolutely crazy. The only quote-unquote downside is that the narrative, what's going to pop off this cycle, is not fully clear. And I'm not too comfortable right now with just putting a lot of money into all these different sectors, waiting to see what's going to pop off. I prefer to just go with whatever trend's working at the time, which again, we're quite neutral, we're being quite neutral right now, and then just allocate a lot of money once it's already going. Again, the positive side being you are having a pretty high win rate because it's hard to lose once things are already popping off. The negative side is you're missing kind of that little upside starting percentage, but I don't really care, as I've described 1,000 times on the channel. I'm getting really, really excited here, guys. Things are looking really, really good as we stand, regardless of what coin you're holding. And realize one thing, it's not really about if the crypto space is going to pump again or go crazy. It's more a matter of when exactly. So if you're overexposed, you've got all your money in this industry, I'll just quickly tell you again, I don't think that is bad, because it's just a matter of time before whatever portfolio you've got right now. Now, okay, most people that have got a good crypto portfolio right now will be in profit again, especially if you're able to pivot, if you're not just stuck on old coins and you're able to go with the trend. Realize, ladies and gentlemen, I've been making these videos for so many years straight. The biggest mistake that many people make is they buy coins 1 year. Let's say it's 2018. Let's say it's 2021. It doesn't really matter which year. And they just buy it, see that they lost some money, and they give up. They might hold them for a while. They might sell some at the bottom, and they just give up. Every person that I've ever spoken to, if they, from the moment that they got in, just kept on buying, would be in a crazy amount of profit right now. Because theoretically speaking, crypto, we've only ever seen upside. Oh, prices have gone down for like a year straight. It's like a year. What's a year? If you just consistently kept on buying, right now Bitcoin is at one of the highest points ever. You would have been in a ton of profit. It's just you being scared, or, and that's the more, I'd say, feasible reason, you want the crazier profits. But if that's what you're looking for, then the bull market's where it's at, and hopefully it's upon us. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited for what's about to happen next. The next few weeks or months are going to be crazy. I just know it. Make sure you press that like button. I'll see you guys again in another crypto video, hopefully somewhere later today.